All praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKadosh. Double honors to my elders, apostles, and the bishops of Great Millstone, the men where I have learned this truth and where I am still learning this truth, and shalom to the other sincere followers of this truth. All right, today is going to be another quick video, Lord willing. It's going to be a video with another reading, all right, in Psalm, the 83rd chapter. This reading, though, is going to be out of the King James 1611, and we're going to go to a couple of scriptures that are referred to when you read a few verses in this Psalm 83, okay? But before we get into that, I just want to bring it up again that knowing these things and reading these things in English, all right, you cannot think that you're going to get the full knowledge, truth, and wisdom out of it just reading it in English. You have to go to the etymology of these words in their original language. So if you're in the Old Testament, okay, you want to go to the Hebrew words, okay? And if you're in the New Testament, you want to go to the Greek words, all right? And you also cannot disregard the Apocrypha, all right? So keep that in mind. So I'm going to read something out of the Apocrypha and out of the Good News translation, the Apocrypha that's in there, all right? Now, as the remnant, Lord willing, I am of that number, okay? But even if I'm not up to this point, even if I am not of the remnant, I have been granted as a gift, all right, from the men of the Lord through the spirit and power of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, enough of an eye salve to know that the Old Testament, the New Testament, and the Apocrypha are all one testament. All right, when it was written on the scroll, it wasn't separated as the Old, New, and Apocrypha. All right, they're all one testament. So you can't disregard the Old, you can't disregard the New, you cannot disregard the Apocrypha. All right, even in this 1611 version, King James edition, all right, the Apocrypha is in there. Okay, in the Good News translation, the Apocrypha is in there, right? It was taken out, which is a sign in itself. The Lord is awesome in everything that He does, all right? So everything points to something. This book being taken out of the Bible, the Apocrypha, taken out of the Bible, points to something, all right? Points to someone, all right? Points to a people, okay? Why was this thing taken out of the scriptures? All right, we're not going to go into that. That's just something for you to think about, consider. Go read, search up on it, and see. All right. Also, this truth filters people out of it. So if you say you don't agree with the don't believe in the New Testament, okay, that's filtering you out. If you say you don't believe in the Old, that's filtering you out. If you say that the things in the Apocrypha are not biblical, that's filtering you out. So be careful of who you follow and what you listen to. You won't be able to blame them in the end anyway. All right, it is up to you to seek out your own salvation with fear and trembling. That's paraphrasing a scripture. All right, what does that mean? What does it mean? Blessed is he that readeth. What does it mean? Study to show thyself approved. What does all that mean? Okay, it doesn't say, well, put your eggs in this one person's basket. It doesn't tell you that. You are liable for your own, for how you treat this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. All right. So with that being said, let me go to in the King James version of the Apocrypha. All right. If you go to the book of Ecclesiasticus, okay, there is a prologue. Now, I'm not going to read the whole prologue. I'm only going to go straight to the point. But you need to listen, all right? Listen, all right? It says, wherefore let me entreat you to read it with favor and attention and to pardon us, wherein we may seem to come short of some words, which we have labored to interpret. For the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another language have not the same force in them, and not only these things, but the law itself and the prophets and the rest of the books have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language. All right, so it's telling you something here. All right, don't just, the original language that is written in is important above all other languages. It's important to go figure out what is being said in these scriptures. All right, uh, sometimes most of the time, pride will get on you in many different ways. And reading something in your main language, which this message now is being focused on the people in America, on the Israelites in America, and even more specifically on the 1/3 of Israel in America, known as the remnant. All right, this message is for you, more so than anyone else. Okay, that's what this good news is for. This gospel. But what it's telling you is that English. Okay, do not think that just because you read this in English that you understand it. Okay, you're doing yourself an injustice. All right, and if you stop there, if you don't believe it, that is the Lord blocking you from understanding what was just read over here in the prologue. All right, so we're going to go to the Good News translation and read the same thing in the Good News translation. All right, but in this book, it is known as the book of Sirach. All right, not the book of Ecclesiastes, but they are the same thing. It's just in the Good News translation, it is titled something different. All right, we're going to go to the prologue of the book of Sirach in the Good News translation. All right, and I'm going to read the same thing that I read in the King James Version. It says, "Let me urge you then to read this book carefully and with an open mind, and please be patient in those places where, in spite of all my diligent efforts, I may not have translated some phrases very well. What was originally written in Hebrew does not always have exactly the same sense when it is translated into another language. This is true not only of this book, but even of the law itself, the prophets, and the other books. The translations differ quite a bit from the original." So again, it's telling you to go deeper than just these surface things. All right. Yes, the Lord had this written out in English. That was to get our attention, but you have to go deeper. And that blessed us with some of the truth. Some of the stuff does speak um, directly to the point that is trying to be that is being made through the original language. But you don't stop there. You have to dig and you have to not figure it out, but you have to dig and find the truth. All right, you have to find it. And we're lucky again because not only did we receive this in English, but we received English teachers. All right, men of the Lord that speak English. Okay. All right. Now, can you imagine a man of the Lord speaking Hebrew and you don't know Hebrew? All right. So listen to these teachers. Um, well, not all teachers. All right. All right. I believe the ones that I have that not that I found, but that the Lord has put in front of me are the men of the Lord. All right. And what they stress is not to just believe what they say. They tell you to go search out these things. All right. Get some understanding. Okay. Get some understanding. That's what they urge you to do. Because guess what? That's what the scriptures urge you to do. Okay. So if someone wants you to follow them blindly, again, there lays a sign. All right. Don't follow that teacher blindly. Okay. Uh, Even the Lord left his words behind. All right. He's not here in the physical form telling you, okay? He left these things behind for you to go read, study. Men, he left men, the spirit, okay, behind for you to listen to, okay, and take heed to guide you. All right. So just keep those things in mind. I am speaking kind of fast, so I hope I am not slipping of the tongue in any place. I don't. Oh, speaking of slipping of the tongue in any place, I have to go to this. Just because I remember in a video, uh, and I'm pretty sure I don't have to explain this to um, someone that's learned or someone that has been on these videos before and listened, but just because it's not, I imagine people listening to it that's not too learned, all right, that are very new. So I had mentioned me being a man of the Lord. Now, what I meant by that is so far that what I am doing, all right, this path that I'm on, this is something that a man of the Lord would do. Now, am I going to stay on this path to the end? We don't know. Lord willing, I will, all right, but we won't know until the day of the Lord comes back. Lord willing, I will stay on this path because I've seen people fall off. I've read about people falling off in these scriptures, and it's not a pretty sight. It's not a good thing. It's not a good example. Okay, some examples are good of people going off because you learn from them, but you don't want to actually do it. So I don't want to do that. I pray I stay on this path. And hold on for a quick second. All right, I just want to make sure this camera was pointed in the right direction because I'm not using the front facing. I'm using the rear facing, and I can't tell what this camera is pointing at. But everything will be okay as long as you can hear me. All right, so let's see. There was something else. So I don't want you to misconstrue me saying that as me meaning that I know that for a fact and that that is final. I don't know this. All right. But I can tell you that the path that I am walking now, compared to where I came from, and what I am striving to be in this world, having the highest office in this world that a man can hold, which is a teacher of this wisdom. All right. I hope I stay on this path to make it to that point. Okay. To be outside on the highways and hedges, speaking these things. Okay. Um, Lifting up my voice outside. All right. So I apologize if it came off the wrong way as prideful. That's not what I meant to be. That's not what I meant. There was something else that I thought I had stated. Um, anyway, it'll come back to me, Lord willing. So let's get on with this reading. Why am I reading Psalm the 83rd chapter in the 1611 edition of the King James? I'll answer this in a second. Something else just came to mind that I want to check out. I'll tell you what it is. So since the Apocrypha is in this 1611 edition, okay, it doesn't. But I was wanting to see if any references to scriptures were in the prologue, which is not. But I do remember some of what is said in this prologue being in the beginning of the Bible with a letter to the reader or something like that. Let me see. You never know where the Spirit is going to lead you. Okay. It says to the reader. All right. The translators to the reader. Now I did a lesson where I went through some of this, and I can't even think of what the lesson was. But let's see if I can remember Okay, let's see. Yeah, you know what? I will read this. All right, let me just read this little note from the translators to the reader really quick. All right. Okay, that is what I read. I read it on that lesson about clean water and dirty drinkers. Okay, I'm gonna read this really quick. Anyway, this is a letter to the reader from the translators. Okay, now listen up. It says, many other things we might give thee warning of. Okay, it says, if we had not exceeded the measure of a preface already, it remaineth that we commend thee to God and to the Spirit of his grace, which is able to build further than we can ask or think. He removeth the scales from our eyes, the veil from our hearts, opening our wits that we may understand his word, enlarging our hearts, yea, correcting our affections, that we may love it above gold and silver, yea, that we may love it to the end. All right. Ye are brought unto fountains of living water, which ye dig not. Do not cast earth into them with the Philistines, neither prefer broken pits before them with the wicked Jews. All right. Others have labored, and you may enter into their labors. O receive not so great things in vain. O despise not so great salvation. Be not like swine to tread under foot so precious things, neither yet like dogs to tear and abuse holy things. I love that. If you have, so I understand more than I can, what was that? Express. So I understand in reading this what was being said there. But can I express that clearly to you right now? Um, Maybe in a way, but I don't want to pick and choose things out of here to explain to you. Um, uh, Maybe we'll go into that some other time. All right, but I did cover that a little bit in the clean water, dirty drinkers series on this channel. Okay. Anyway, uh, yeah, I love that though. That's nice. Okay, so let's go to why am I reading Psalm the 83rd chapter in the King James 1611 edition. All right, because in the previous series, all right before these readings of Psalm 83, the series was choose affliction over sin for a season. All right, and this is what was stated. All of these other nations, what other nations? All other nations outside of Israel, okay, they are against Israelites, with the head nation being the nation of Esau Edom. All right, the so-called white man. There is no such thing as a white or a black man. He named himself white. He named us black. All right. So there are signs. There's prophecies that fit who is who. These scriptures point directly at who is who. And there's a video series on this channel about that. If you go to the community page or the community tab on this page, all right, which I urge you to do, you'll find other teachers. They have done many videos on that subject. Who and where is Esau Edom? Or Esau Edom? Who and where is he? That's the actual series on this page, all right? But you can go to the community tab, get into those other videos of those other teachers. They have more experience in this than I do, all right? So, anyway, let me get back to what was stated in that lesson, all right? All of these other nations have worked hand in hand in making sure that our name, all right, Israel, which Israel is a people before it is a place, all right? The Lord is awesome. I'm going to just tell you that, okay? And his thoughts are above our thoughts, all right? So before that twists you up, figure out what that means, all right? Anyway, all of these other nations have worked hand in hand in making sure that our name would be removed from the earth, all right? And not only these other nations, okay? Their deception is so strong that Israelites are in on this with them. They fight tooth and nail to keep this from coming to the light, but it's not going to stop. It's not going to halter what the Lord has planned. You are just showing yourself, marking yourself, making a testimony against you when you come against this truth, all right? Anyway, it says you can read about this in the book of Psalm 83, about these other nations coming against us, all right? Working hand in hand. And that's why I'm reading Psalm 83. Now, previous to this video, there were 3 other readings already of Psalm 83. All right. The reason why I'm going into it in the 1611 edition is because there's a little bit more details, that there are other scriptures referenced, okay, in this book, to give a little bit more detail. Okay. So this is going to be a quick reading, Lord willing. All right. So let's go. Psalm 83. Oh, and speaking of 1611 edition, all right, this will make you grow in knowledge, because it's going to push you to knowing your Roman numerals, man. All right, it's still growth. You need to grow. You need to grow to get to other levels, man. It's wild. Everything about this truth is good for you if you are an Israelite, if you are the remnant of Israel, if you are 1/3 of Israel. Okay. So let me just touch on that really quick. Okay. Yahweh, all right, Yahweh, excuse me. Everything has order. All right. Everything has order. Okay. Even the wicked, even these other nations, the Lord has put you in order. The Lord has put everything in order. All right. His name is Yahweh. That is whom the world ignorantly calls God. All right. God is a trait. It is a title. All right. But his name is Yahweh. It is not God. All right. And his only begotten son, his name is Yahweh, which is a Hebrew name. All right. It is not Jesus or any of these other names that they call him. I'm not going to go through the whole list, and I keep saying this because those names make me sick. I can't stand thinking about them, hearing them, let alone speaking them. All right. Also, this message is focused on America right now. Okay, because this is where the great deliverance is going to come from. Okay, America, which is Babylon the Great. Did you know that? Babylon the Great in the scriptures speaks of America. If you are standing on solid ground that isn't America, you are standing in Babylon the Great. All right, which is also, all right, ready? Which is also the future site of the lake of fire. Okay? Everyone outside of Israelites are going to get burnt up. And even two-thirds of Israelites are going to get burnt up here. Only 1/3 are going to make it up out of here. Okay? Everyone else is going to get melted and left. All right? The big secret, why all these distractions are going on. Oh, this is the other thing I missed. I feel a type of way about what I said about the biggest secret being that the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the so-called Negroes, the so-called blacks, the so-called Latinos, the so-called Native Americans, are the Israelites, and after them are the scattered, all right, that are scattered amongst every other nation. We look like every other nation. This isn't a black thing, right? Okay, but with that being said, the only begotten Son, Yahushua, looked like and was a so-called black man from the tribe of Judah. Okay, um, but okay, so why are all these? What are all these distractions about going on in the world? Right. First of all, they are leading to prophecy, so they're not really distractions. They're following prophecy. Okay. So, but what are they trying to distract you from? What do they think they're distracting you from? That this Bible is not a fairy tale. It is true. And it supersedes all these other scholarly books, all right, or all these other fairy tale books, which, Lord willing, after this, we're going to go ahead and break down another fairy tale of this world, another cunningly devised fable. We're going to talk about hell, all right? Is hell a place where your spirit burns forever? Is it? Is it really? All right, we're going to talk about that soon. Hopefully, that'll be the next series I do. I think, though, there is going to be another reading of a book and chapter uh, as far as choosing affliction goes. All right, but Lord willing, okay, Lord willing. But yeah, so that's the big wow, is that these scriptures are faithful and true. It is not a fairy tale, man. Not a fairy tale at all. This is the most truest thing, okay? The most This right here is the truest history that you can pick up and read, all right? So let's get to it. Let's go to Psalm 83. I think I've said enough so far. All right, Psalm 83. All right. So 83 in Roman numerals is LXXXIII. All right. That's just for future reference. Okay. So let's go ahead and read it. It says a complaint to God of the enemy's conspiracies, a prayer against them that oppress the church. All right. So it reads a song or psalm of Asaph. Okay. Or for Asaph. All right. It says, keep not thou silence, O God. Keep not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lift up thy head. The head, excuse me. The pride has come up. All right. Verse 3, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gebal and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre, Ashur, also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Selah, right? So, right here, the children of Lot, all right, they have been an army to the children of Lot, an arm. All right. Now listen to this. We're gonna go with that. We're gonna go to Judges chapter 7 and verse 22. All right. So let's go here. Judges. All right. Judges chapter 7 and verse 22. All right. What does it say here? I'm gonna start at I'm just read 22. It says, and the 300 blew the trumpets, and the Lord set every man's sword against his fellow, even throughout all the hosts. And the host fled to Beth Shittah, all right, and Zereroth, and to the border of Abel Meholah, unto Tabath. All right, hold on, let me see something really quick. All right. Yeah, let's go back to Psalms 83 and 9. It says, do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Laban, or uh, yeah, uh, at the brook of Kison. All right, and right here it says go to Judges chapter 4, and we're going to read verses 15 and 24. Judges 4. Judges 4:15. All right, it says, and the Lord discomfited Sisera and all his chariots and all his host with the edge of the sword. All right, so in 83 is asking the Lord to do this again to our enemies. All right, before Barak, so that Sisera lighted down off his chariot and fled away on his feet. All right, and then it said verse 24. Right, it says, and the hand of the children of Israel prospered and prevailed against was it Jabin, the king of Canaan, until they had destroyed Jabin, the king of Canaan. All right. So you can see what's being prayed for here, man. For victory, for our enemies to be done as our enemies were done before in the distant past. All right. Now, here we go. Verse 10 of Psalm 83, verse 10. I'll do 9 again. It says, do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Damn, they became like shit. All right, their bodies laid down and decayed. All right, and gave back to the earth. All right, verse 11. It says, make their nobles like Oreb and like Zeb, yea, all their princes as Zeba and as Zalmunna. All right, that verse 11 is sending us to Judges chapter 7, verse 25. All right, Judges 7 and 25. What does it say? It says, and they took, this is Judges 7:25, right? It says, and they took two princes of the Midianites, Oreb and Zeb, and they slew Oreb upon the rock. Oreb and Zeb they slew at the winepress of Zeb, and pursued Midian, and brought the heads of Oreb and Zeb to Gideon on the other side of on the other side Jordan. All right. Hey man, beheaded him. And like I said, it's asking that this happen again. Okay. And it's also giving me Judges chapter 8, verse 21. Okay. Judges 8:21. It says, then Zebah and Zalmunna said, rise thou and fall upon us, for as the man is, so is his strength. And Gideon arose and slew Zebah and Zalmunna, and took away the ornaments that were on their camels' necks, man. Yo, that's what it's praying for to happen again to you people that's coming against us, man. And who did all the things against us, all right? And who are still acting against us, trying to keep it secret. The Lord sees you, man. The Lord sees you. All right, so let me read Psalm 83:11 again. Make their nobles like Oreb and like Zeb, headless. Yea, all their princes as Zebah and Zalmunna, who said, let us take ourselves the houses of God in possession. Isn't that what you guys did here? Oh my God, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth a wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Lord. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, which is going to happen. That men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, all right, art the most high over all the earth. All right, so we see what's going on. We hear that. The remnant hear it, Lord. All right. So this is a part of what we pray for. And this is a part of what is going to happen. Okay. So I think that was it for now. Lord willing, I will come back soon. All right. With another reading. I don't know what it's going to be. I just know that there's another reading coming. So I just don't remember what it was. All right. Anyway, so with that, like I say, all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakaha Quadash. Double honors to my elders, apostles, and the bishops of Great Millstone, where I have learned this truth and where I am still learning this truth. And also shalom to the other sincere followers of this truth. All right. Shalom.